Hello, everybody. This is Nick Newman with the Conscienticon, where we share practical, spiritual, occult wisdom. Now, here's a quick disclaimer. I am not a medical professional in any way. I don't have any licenses to give advice or anything like this, okay? I'm just a guy talking who loves to learn and connect dots, okay? So any advice you take from the Conscienticon or the community, you take at your own risk. Okay, now, of course, we're trying to do our best to help everybody, so keep that in mind. But if you're here, you're like me and everybody else, and you're looking for wisdom, and it's, like I said in my other videos, it's very hard to find truth out there. So we are doing our best to dish out that truth every day. So if you're like us, please like, comment, and subscribe. So let's go ahead and get into this one. Today's is it's a popular demand here. It's about finding purpose. And I am absolutely blessed to be so damn hard-headed that I found mine. And this isn't, this concept is everywhere. Everybody's saying this. If you want to get your life right, find your purpose. Find your purpose, and then you'll find the way. And it's like, God, I've learned so much self-help. Like, I went through that phase forever where I was like, I don't know what my purpose is. I've got all the tools in my toolkit to make things happen, to manifest things in my life, but I don't know what the hell to do because it's analysis paralysis. I have so many options. So, stick around to the end of the video because I'm going to hit some bullet points that hopefully get your ass on your purpose, whoever you are listening to this, because you have a purpose. And what's beautiful about it is that it's beautiful and it's awful at the same time. It's this burden. Everyone has this burden of purpose, and they can either choose to accept that burden or live a life that's completely meaningless. And we're lucky that we live in such a world or a simulation or whatever you want to call this that allows us to choose our own purpose. That's a beautiful thing. And people just throw that away. I'm arguing with nihilists all the time. God, nihilists. I love them. Give nihilists love because they need it. But don't waste too much time because everything's meaningless anyway. But getting your purpose, living in this world where we can choose a purpose, that's a beautiful thing, and we want to embrace that. So don't think of discovering your purpose as a burden. Don't think of it like that. Think of it like that's the quest of life. Okay, so here's the first thing I want to get into here that might, because I'm trying to just shift gears in people's heads. Because especially if you're a Conscienticon viewer and you're a subscriber, you're already that kind of person that's got those gears in their head. You've got tools from over here, all this wisdom. You have skills and shit, and you're just like, how do I click these gears together to get something going? And so that is what we're going to try to do today. Okay, so happiness comes from action. Okay, that's a wild thing to think. A lot of people think that happiness is something that you pursue, and that is absolutely not true. Happiness comes from action. Okay, this is critical to understand. Happiness is not something you pursue. Okay, it's the actions that you need to be pursuing. So back in the day, I wanted to be a writer really bad, and I am a writer now, which is fantastic. But back in the day, I was more in love with the idea of the lifestyle that a writer had, the vibe that a writer had. That would be the dream, is this idea of I didn't have to go out and work. I could just go get, a cup of coffee and chill at my desk and kind of, try to write the next great novel or whatever the fuck. And, in doing that, I actually tried doing it. And you know what I found out? That I didn't care to write stories. Not really. I like stories, but not as much as a person who has that lifestyle likes stories. Because there are a lot of sacrifices that need to be made on your way to whatever your purpose is. And I knew in attempting that, that wasn't it. In fact, I've got a book up on my shelf right now because I hand wrote this because I was like, that'd be cool. And that just goes to show you, I was going for the vibe, ooh, I'm a troubled writer. You know what I mean? I was going for the vibe. I wasn't actually enjoying the craft. Happiness, let's elaborate a little more. Happiness comes from action. Okay? And if you want to get really crazy with this, let's get really super technical with this and go right into neuroscience, okay? Dopamine is the happy hormone. Okay, I mean, I've seen people with the dopamine pattern tattoo on their arms and stuff because it's they're trying to be trendy or whatever. But dopamine is the happy hormone, and the thing about the happy hormone is it's actually a pursuit hormone. Whenever you enjoy something, whenever you have pleasure, that is your body's hormonal system telling you, "Hey, let's do that some more." And think about it think about the last time I love to eat, let's go into that. I love steak too. I eat a lot of steak. I was eating a steak a little while ago, and it's so good at first. It's like, that's good. Oh my God, this is amazing. More and more and more. And towards the end of it, you start to get like full. Ooh, the discomfort starts to creep in. And if I continue to eat, it becomes pain. You know what I mean? And then inevitably you stop. That's the thing to kind of get in your mind, okay, is to understand that pleasure or happiness, a lot of people kind of confuse happiness and pleasure. That is a pursuit thing. And there is no fucking way, there's no faster way to lose happiness in your life than to just give up, just quit pursuing shit. And that's where a lot of people are. That's where they are. I say were, but because I'm thinking about me, I'm thinking about like where I was. And that's where I was. I just wanted to fucking give up all the time. But finding your purpose is about constantly testing out shit. Okay, so let me take you on a little journey here, okay? Like, the first thing I really wanted to be was a doctor, right? And so all throughout school, I was paying attention to medicine because I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to go help people. And I found that I could be a nurse, right? And so I actually went to school to be a nurse. And then I went and worked at a nursing home for 3 years. And guess what? That was a fucking nightmare. It was not for me. I was not the archetypical person to be a nurse. And it didn't, that deep in my soul, that stung, but I moved on. So as I was a nurse, I was practicing, I was a night nurse. So I watched a lot of people sleep, basically. I had a pager that would go off, and then I would go and take care of people whenever they hit their pendant. I had to go take care of them. I would wipe asses. I have pulled shit out of people's asses. I was all down the medicine road. And I was still planning at that time. I was like, I'm going to try to be a doctor. But once I got into the the medical system, I was just like, God, this is just like hell to me. This isn't what I thought it was going to be. This isn't like those doctors shows I watched. This is misery. This is like... And I was like, no. So when I was there, I was like, okay, I wanted to be an artist too. Let's try that out. And so while I was there, I would paint. I'd paint and do comic book art. I'd practice at night in the dark. This little cafe area where the residents were and all this. And I would draw on stuff and then stop and help the residents, or I'd cook them food if they woke up, and I'd chill with them. It was a really great time, but I was honing another craft. It was comic book art. And after a while, I found I really enjoyed painting and drawing, but I just again fabricating a tale, a story, weaving it all together. And then there'd be another hurdle of actually advertising this thing and going further. And it just, my fire wasn't there. You know what I mean? And I gave it my best. And so, and actually all the things on Redbubble, I've drew myself, some of them were like traced, like Jordan Peterson, some of those, famous people, because I wanted to get their faces right and whatnot. But I'm an artist, but I'm not an artist. You know what I mean? And I found that out by actually trying. I went in and tried, and then I got to a point where I was like, this is just not it. And so here's the real piece of gold for y'all. Hopefully this will click the gears in place, okay? Because I found my purpose where my fear was. Okay, this might sound a little crazy, but my purpose was where my fear was. And I'm going to tell you about the best day I've ever had in my whole life. And it's going to really mess you up. It's going to, hopefully it messes you up like it messed me up, because I was surprised by it. I had learned about the Jungian theory of the archetypes of the collective unconscious. And I found out that there is an archetype of person called a sage, okay? And there, within all stories, there are 12 different archetypical characters. And I found that character, and I was like, okay, this is a stupid Facebook quiz I took. Crazy. I took it, and I was like, what is this? And what I found out was the sage's archetype is all characters defined by fear. And I found out that my greatest fear was imperfection. And that was why I was so ambitious to learn so many different things. Like I was always, the pursuit of learning a skill was my favorite part of actually doing anything. And then once I felt like I got good enough, I was like, oh, I'm done. So this is the sage's dilemma. So sages end up getting into these trends where they just keep learning more things. And guess what? This has led to the Conscienticon. That led to this. But the best day in my whole life was the day that I decided, you know what? If what I do is I seek wisdom, and what I would want to be, if I could be anything, it'd be like a wizard. It was like far out there. It's like, what would I want to be? Anything I wanted to be. It's like, I'd want to be like a wizard. And so that day I decided I'm going to be a fucking wizard. I'm going to be a sage, a wizard, whatever. I'm going to accumulate knowledge. That's what I'm going to do. And I went into my office, and I looked at everything in there, and I said, okay. And it was a mess. It was just a disaster. It was a room that I used to get high with my friends in. That's really what it was. And it was a place of prestige where I could pretend I had something going on, but really didn't have anything going on. And I looked in there and I said, you know what? Let's fix this place up. And that's what I did. I sorted and organized everything in there. And I was like, you know what? If I was a wizard, how would this room look? And I went in there and I turned it around. And I was like, if I was a wizard, what would a wizard want to learn? And I was like, okay, let's learn about spirituality. Let's learn about real powerful wisdom. How do people make changes in the world? How do people do this and that? And maybe I can learn another language. And so I'm working on another language right now, actually. That was the very best day of my life. Now, this is what made it the best day of my life, okay? And it's paradoxical. I was terrified of doing this. I was terrified. I was with my wife at the time, which I'm no longer with, and we're going through a divorce. If you've seen my other video, you know that. But I was terrified because I didn't want anybody looking at me like I was an idiot, because I had a deep fear of imperfection. I was like, if I go in this room and start, writing books and learning all this wisdom and diving into all these things I really wanted to dive into, but never gave myself permission to, somebody would look at me and say I'm stupid. You know what I mean? Like, you're stupid. You're just wasting your time. Why aren't you playing Xbox with us, bro? Oh, okay. You're in your blah, 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 blah. That was what I was afraid of. Because that was my life, basically, back then. It was get high, play Xbox, um, go to work. I mean, there was a while I worked at a sandwich shop. And not to knock the shop or anything, but all we did was get stoned and work there. My life was empty and miserable. And when I did that, the simple act of taking a step towards this illusory thing I wanted to be, it just snapped me. It just snapped me open. From then on, like, I almost counted the days since that day, because I've known every single day had gotten better. And I learned so much wisdom, and some of that wisdom led me to actually like getting my divorce and getting like I wanted to learn all kinds of things, like how to get girls. I was just like, let's just be out there and like figure out all the techniques I could actually figure out in order to set my life straight. And so like, and from then on, everything was just groovy, and it was because I stepped into fear. Now, this is what I want you guys to understand, that as you're watching this, you know what your purpose is, really. Like, I knew what my purpose was. My purpose, in being a wizard, it was the accumulation of knowledge in order to share it. However, I was like, how could I share knowledge if I'm an idiot? Or if people are looking at me like, Nick, who do you think you are? You're just a stoner. Like, I was terrified of that. It was my deepest fear of somebody looking at me and being like, Nick, you ain't shit. That was my biggest fear. And the day I looked at myself and I said, I don't care what they say. I don't care what they say. I mean, maybe it's going to sting or whatever, but I don't care. I'm proceeding through because I am worth it. My life is limited. I got one life. I should go do something that I want to do. And from then on, it was gravy. But like I'm saying, you know what your purpose is really. You're just too fucking scared to do it. Now, I don't know in your life what variables are set up in order to create that pressure on you that makes you think you can't be some kind of way or do some sort of things. But whatever it is, you've got to overcome it. You've either got to get out of that environment, or you've just got to face the fear and just be like, today I'm doing this. You know what I mean? Today I'm doing this. And that's it. And the thing is, I thought it was going to be crazy dramatic, but nobody really gave me shit about it, other than my friends that I wasn't hanging out with anymore at that time. They gave me shit because they missed me. I missed them too. But I've never gone back since then. And I want people to know that you know your purpose, really. You really do. And let's say that even at this point, you're like, Nick, I really don't know what my purpose is. Well, guess what? You just haven't tried enough shit yet. Like, it's as simple as that. And so that's my next point here, is follow your curiosity. Because that is one truth to this world, is people are curious about very different things. You know what I mean? Like, one of my dearest friends loves wrestling. And, he's women and gender studies major. That's what he is. And it's like, to me, I don't give a fuck about those things. But to him, it's just this endless well of curiosity. And he dives into it, and he goes forward from there. He learns all this crazy stuff. And like, to each their own. There's something that you're curious about that you're denying yourself. Maybe you're curious about what level of athletic skill you have. That's another good one. Like, maybe you wanted to do something with your body. Maybe, and maybe you just wanted to express your sexuality. That's another big one. Because thanks to our upbringings and our families and our cultures and our friends, we all these things that are providing us comfort actually become prisons for us. Because if you live a life where you have to worry about offending anybody around you, you're a fucking slave. You're a slave. It doesn't matter whether they're your parents, if they're your, in my case at that time it was my wife and my friends, that comfort kept me chained because I was like, my friends are going to give me a lot of shit, and they might not be friends with me anymore if I go and play if I go do something that I've dreamed about. They're not going to play with me anymore. And well, it's like if they're not going to play with you anymore, or if they're not going to treat you decently after you pursue a dream, what the fuck are they for? Like, what the fuck are they for? We've got all this stuff backwards. We're seeking comfort. We're not seeking action. Seek action. Action is where your happiness will be. Now, I'm dog ass tired right now. I'm tired as fuck. If I could go lay down right now, I'd just conk out. But I'm so happy working on the Conscienticon. While I'm at working my 40-hour shift, I'm out there. I'm thinking every day, like, what's a cool topic I can share with people? How do I help people get new concepts adapted into their life so they can transform things like I've transformed things? And if you haven't seen my other videos, like, shit, I've lost like 110 pounds. I've like made money out of damn near thin air. Like, things are crazy. I have my job just to pay rent, basically. You know what I mean? And soon I won't even need that. But it's like, I want more people to learn this stuff, and pursuing your purpose will make these things happen for you. And that purpose is unique. It's absolutely unique. So here's another thing to go from there. Once you do find a thing, maybe you do find your purpose, and that's great. The next thing to figure out is, and this is all action, so it should be enjoyable. It shouldn't be daunting. The next thing to do is to find out how you can serve other people with that purpose, or join in a hierarchy that already exists within that purpose. So let's go back to the beginning when I was saying I wanted to be a doctor. I did that. I was like, okay, cool. And I didn't go to medical school. I went to nursing, and I was super entertained with that until I got into actually dealing with residents and patients. Then I was like, oh God, this is awful. But I was hopping into a hierarchy. That was a hierarchical system. So if I went to a hospital and become a doctor, I would be in a hierarchy of doctors where I worked, and they had a structure already. So I'd be getting a paycheck to practice medicine. And that would have been great. I mean, that would have been great to me at the time, but had I gotten into it, I would have hated it because I didn't know. That's another big problem with the educational system, is you go in too deep before you even practice, and you don't know whether you're going to like it. And then, like, God, if I went to medical school just to be a doctor and then had to treat patients, I would have fucking hated my life. I would have wasted like 8 years and been in so much debt. So that's a big problem with the educational system. But you either want to find a hierarchy for that thing, and maybe that hierarchy actually requires you to have education, or what you want to do is find a way you can serve. So, like, I sell my weight loss book. I sell all kinds of books on Amazon that I have written. And the thing is, they're not fiction books. They're factual books. They're nonfiction. I sell books about topics, about how to do things. And that fits what kind of archetypical person I am. And your fear that you have is going to expose to you what archetypical person you are. So I'm working on a program right now called the Archetypes of the Collective Unconscious. Anyone who is a patron is going to get early access to that program. So check that out. Also, if you want to become a patron, first $103 tier patrons will get a video made by me on any topic that they want, and then it will be posted on the Conscienticon channel permanently. So that advice will help people permanently, because I know there's other sages out there like me, and people that are listening to this are trying to, iron sharpens iron. So they're learning from me like I learned from y'all. So another thing to think about is, like, follow your curiosity, But also be shitty at a thing for a while. Be shitty at a thing. You know, I've got 230 or so subscribers. It's either 228 or 230 subscribers currently on this channel. But if you go look at my earliest videos I made, they are dog shit. This video right here sucks compared to the videos I'm going to make in the future. I know this. But I'm brave enough to be shitty first. You know what I mean? And I just want people to understand that it's okay to do something bad. Okay? Like, you know that Jake the dog from Adventure Time, he says that, you know, the first part of being really good at something is being bad at something, right? Or sucking at something. That's really cool. That's good advice. It's like, yeah, anyone who's a master or an expert was once shitty. Okay? Was once shitty. So, you know your purpose. Stop fucking around. Stop blinding yourself. Stop playing with yourself. You know what your purpose is. So go out there and do it. I don't care if you got 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, whatever it is you want to do it every day. Okay? And then if you just enjoy doing that, like I just enjoy learning. I love listening to people teach me things. I love watching experiences, and I love taking those experiences and then trying to wrap my head around it and distill it for other people. I love that process. And if you're like me on here, and you're one of my people watching this, like maybe that's something you want to do too. So make a YouTube channel. Go do it. Join me. We'll partner up, okay? But whatever it is, like just do it and be shitty at it first. It's okay. It's okay. What is not okay is to be shitty at it and then just be like, well, this ain't for me. Well, it's like, look at other people in that domain that have achieved what you want to achieve. Look at them and see their curve. Guess what? Their curve isn't perfect. No one's curve is perfect, okay? And maybe there are some people that take off like hot fire whenever they find their purpose and do whatever they want. But you know what? Their journey was no fun. So your journey will be fun. You got to make it fun. And the pursuit of something is fun. It's fun talking to you guys. It's fun seeing the comments. It's fun messing with all the nihilists. It's a great time. So this is Nick Newman with the Conscienticon. Please comment, like, and subscribe. And like, if you like this content, check out the Redbubble page where I've got all my little stickers and stuff that I made. And that's another thing. Like, every little thing that you do on your journey to finding your purpose is going to help you with whatever your main thing is, as long as you're following your curiosity. So your curiosity is an archetypical thing. It's manufactured by your soul. It's crazy. It's crazy to think about. But that's where your purpose is. So just keep following the curiosity. And then once you do 10 or 12 different things, you'll be like, what is it that connects all the dots between these things? So in my case, I just loved researching, and that's where it was. And you will find whatever it is that connects the dots in the things that you love to do. So don't give up and keep going. This is Nick Newman with the Conscienticon. Thank you very much. I'm going to go to bed now.